Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and all you other ghouls and goblins and freaks of nature who stood up late and are just gonna catch this podcast, VOD or live here on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all the places. Thank you. We got it everywhere. This is the first episode of my new podcast, The Midnight Matinee, with your boy, the worst damn gamer ever. Thank you. Yes, it deserves a round of applause. I got a special guest here with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Who could it be? No other than the first Avenger himself.
Captain African America.
Wait
I'm
a
a hero.
second.
I'm a hero. You know? Save shit.
What the fuck?
AKA Sir Sturdy.
We're
here.
I thought we were gonna have Captain America. Like
No,
Captain America.
He was like, listen, Sturdy, this is an important mission. I need you to do it. And I was like, I got you, man. I got you. Just give me a ride there and get me something to eat. Don't even gotta be expensive. He covered it. It's Captain America.
And it's costing us money. Okay, we can work with this.
He's the first Avenger. I'm the last one. That's all.
You were the untold Avenger.
Yeah.
The hidden figure. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sir Sturdy. He's slotted in, I guess.
James had a clan meeting.
That's hilarious. Oh shit. He's holding it down for Captain America, who couldn't be here tonight. So I guess he double booked. My publicist just told me. So we're gonna work on that for next time. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Shout out to Captain America drinking out of a red skull.
Shit, he's got the red skull.
That motherfucker out. You can't fuck with Captain America or Captain African America. Either way. Drinking the blood of our enemies.
Oh boy.
That's right, Captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate your time again. Thank you so much. This is going to be a fun series. We are going through the entire MCU to start this off. I figured that's the best way to start a podcast about movies. What's the most relevant movie entity you can think of for a generation? It is the Marvel MCU. Yes, we can debate about Star Wars, but that's coming eventually. But right now, we have a lot to cover. We're going to start diving into the first Avenger movie. Well, the first timeline movie of the MCU, which is Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yes. And just jumping on what you just said, man, like, this is one of those franchises where there's no age limit to it and there's no gender to it. Like, male and female from 1 year old to 200 years old, let's say, enjoy these films. Like, there's no race, there's no nothing. It's everybody. This is like an all-inclusive film for everybody, and that's what I think is so dope about this whole Marvel universe. And of course, we're gonna start with the first Avenger, Captain America, and first time watch for me. There we go. And another thing I can say, which is awesome for the whole gender thing, is my wife. She already watched this thing by herself, the whole universe. And she was waiting to do it again. And as soon as I told her that we were going to be reviewing these on your new show, she was so excited. She was like, yes, tell her she's cool for this. I'm like,
that's awesome. I appreciate it. Tell her thank you so much. You know, I know we've discussed trying to get our significant others on some of our podcasts and such, but touching on what you just said, that is literally one of the best things about this whole franchise, this whole entity with the MCU and what Fox and Disney has done and all that stuff, because it literally just breaks boundaries. I mean, you got generations from times of my parents and my father who started with these comics books who then passed them down to us, and then we got involved with the comic books of our generation. You know, I was mostly reading like Uncanny X-Men and Amazing Spider-Man for certain things like the Venom series and all that, but I did have Captain America, I did have Wolverines, I did have Punisher. I mean, the plethora of Marvel comics that there was. I wasn't a huge DC fan on the comics. I did follow Superman, but at the same time, Marvel has done and Disney have done such a great job not even being so inclusive in the nature of what they did with the universe, but also the nature of the generations to come and people to do. I mean, think about this. This is a new podcast that we're starting here that's talking about a movie that was 10 years ago, and some of these movies in the MCU that come later in the timeline was even further than that, like if you consider Iron Man or whatnot. So to me, it's just such a dope thing to have that come across to so many people. They engage, they love it, whether they're watching it because they have kids and they have to watch it because it's the new thing or whatever, or they want to reconnect because it was something they were like, oh my god, I used to love this comic, I used to love this character, so now these movies are out for everybody to enjoy. We're talking 10 years later right now at this point that we're talking about this one movie. This is evergreen content. This is what we're talking about. They did it, and now it's helping us create it for the viewers and for our future and for our fans.
And really quick, jumping on what you were just saying about how cool this is bringing people together is, again, my wife loves this stuff. So like we watched this together. I watched the last 45 minutes of it because I had to finish it earlier and she wants to go pick up her nephew today. But she's gonna watch these films with me throughout the whole thing. For like every other podcast we do, she want to watch every movie. She's just like, maybe. I'm good. But for this, she's excited for it, so that's dope. And let's see what James just said.
That's awesome.
When I was a kid, I was too poor to afford the comic books. My father made a comic book for me called Trash Can Bob.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool.
If that's I hope that's true, and I hope you still have it, and you should bring that on the show, because that would be dope. That would be dope. Definitely. On any of the shows on the Z Network.
Definitely.
But so that's like one cool thing about this stuff, because I love doing things with the wife, and then when it includes the podcast and all of that stuff, because it's like, and not to sound like an asshole, because I don't mean it like this the wrong way, but I mean like it's like you're spending time with your significant other, which is very important. You're also getting content that you can discuss on the show, but also talk about how your significant other enjoys these films as well as you do. So it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing.
Yep. Yeah. Now, from being on your show with Horror Sir Sturdy, watching some of those movies, sometimes it's a little hard to get through some of the B movies and some of the lesser movies. Our wheel selects it, but we have to watch them. Yes. I've had them on with the girlfriend in the room, and she was like, all right, let's see what's going on, and literally began to wonder why she was even with me at some points, because they were so hard to watch and get through, which I don't blame her. But for the sake of the content, for the sake of the viewers, and for sake of you guys and hanging out with you guys, I'm down. I'm going to do it. I bitch and moan a lot. I'm probably one of the most aggressive with how annoyed I get, and I display it and I talk about it. But it's all out of love because we're doing it for the viewers. So I appreciate that. But it's nice that today, I was like, hey, so I'm thinking I'm going to recap on, one of the movies that I got to watch for the podcast. And she was like, what movie? And I was like, Captain America. She was like, all right. That made me thumbs up. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I'm good with that. She was still busy, so she didn't get to recap it with me. But I had it going in the background. We was doing a bunch of stuff. I kept glancing up and watching and whatnot. But I mean, I even have it up now with you, and we're just going to talk about it and get going on stuff. But I love it. I love that we have a chance to engage with our significant others while still doing things that we want to do and love doing, while engaging with people that we don't even freaking know. People that are going to find this, people that are going to get this shared to them,
Exactly. It's fun. I love that people actually tune in for this shit. Like for all the shows we do, I love that people actually tune in for every single one of them, because I mean, we love it. We love it. We want more of it. And if you guys want to be guests on any of the shows that I host, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to invite you on this show because it's not mine, and I have to stop doing that.
But there's an open invitation. Anybody who's a movie lover, anybody who knows these stories, who has watched these and or is willing to watch them for the first time like Sturdy is, let me know. Hit me in the comments below. Get it on the Z Network. Get it on YouTube. You can also email me directly at worstdamngamerever at gmail.com. I'll throw that up here in a second at some point, but please do, because I need other people to talk to with other points of views. This is going to be awesome. That's why I went with the MCU to begin with, because if someone like Sturdy, who's been watching movies his whole life, yes, big bulk of it has been horror movies, but it's still like, hey, I've never seen these, and my wife is telling me I need to see these. This is why this content's being created, because somebody else is going to be in the same notion of you. Somebody else is going to be old enough at this point now to be able to watch it who couldn't watch it before or couldn't understand it. Someone's going to be old enough in our generation that never experienced it like Sturdy is at this point, and there's going to be people that are older that might be scrolling by just watching this. All seriousness, I'm about to get some sleep, but I wanted to stop by and say congrats on your... What is this? What did it say? Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it so much. You know, it's always a good time with you on Sturdy and on Popcorn and Pint. So one of these days, if you're willing to stay up late, or if not, we can pre-record. I'm not against that, because we all got shit going on, and there's a lot of movies to get through in this MCU universe.
Oh, matter of fact, tell them about Monday. We're doing whatever movie's next.
So yeah, so that you guys also know as well if you're watching. So since we're going down the list of the MCU, we're following the timeline that is on Disney Plus. There's a lot of things to go in, including shows like Agent Carter. Now I'm gonna not have the Agent Carter in there, but there are shorts that are in there that are called one-shots. We're gonna include those. We're gonna include some of the other newer MCU episodic pieces of the universe, like Loki, WandaVision, Hawkeye, just because I feel like those is a little bit more engaging, a little bit better of the flow with the main stories from the movies, where Agent Carter kind of has a couple seasons that goes off with the story. Yes, there's a lot of linkage to it, because, you know, she's the original SHIELD agent. Well, if you don't know, sorry for the spoiler, but go and watch it as well. It's worth a watch. Please do. But we will be doing that. So the first short from the MCU universe that falls next in line is the one shot from Agent Carter. We're going to watch that for Monday and get that reviewed, because I believe it's only a 4 or 8 minute short. We're going to do a quick reaction and overview of it for you. That's going to be pre-recorded, so check that out. That's going to be already our second piece of content that's going to be uploaded for this. So hope you're watching this live. Hope you watch it later. Hope you watch the other one.
And the third piece of content we're going to be doing, it's not dropping until next week, but whatever movie's next.
Right, so next Saturday, we're going to hold off on our gaming thing from the Saturday that we're used to doing, playing Zombie Army 4 or World War Z or a couple other things. We're probably going to still get that done here in a little bit after we're done, because we need to decompress a bit. It's our second podcast of the day. But next week is going to be Captain Marvel. It's the second movie in the series. I already got my trailers and my overlays ready to go. So if you want to get down and join us for the Captain Marvel movie review, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified when we're dropping it, watch out for the notifications that we're dropping, and check out my TikTok, check out my Instagram, check out my YouTube, check out my Twitter. I'm gonna be putting up promos and short little teasers, and also just things to hopefully entice you and make you want to watch, whether it's me gaming with Sturdy, me gaming by myself, me doing a podcast. I'm going to make sure you know when I'm on podcast with him, which is usually every Tuesday, Thursday, and then also on Saturday with our other boys on Popcorn and Pints that we just got done doing an hour ago. So, tons of shit, guys. The schedule is filling up. It's filling.
It's only going to get funner. It's only more fun. It's only going to get crazier. You guys will see. And we will have guests on. I'm sure we'll have guests on every single one of the shows that we're all involved in, because it's just something where it's an all-inclusive thing. On the Z Network, it's all-inclusive. We don't want anybody to feel left out. So if you want to come on and review something with us, if you've never been on a podcast, you just got to know how to talk movies. That's it.
I mean, check this guy out, all right? I told him, I got a new segment. I hid the name from him. I worked with our boy Dreams, the creator, to get these overlays created, get them all done. They look amazing. Dreams, thank you so much. Go check him out on his YouTube, his Instagram, and on his Facebook page, because this guy has tutorials, and he's got free overlays if you're a content creator. You get no better than that. He will work with you to cater to what you need for your podcast. I word talked to him what my idea was, and this came out. This is what appeared. Sturdy's background, his overlay. That pattern, that's a custom pattern that he did. That came from one of his designs from his clothing line. All right.
But let me tell you this though. I got to tell you this. listen. I gotta speak for Sturdy, right? This design, I told him, I said, you gotta make that design an overlay because it's so fucking dope. He was like, are you sure? I said, do it because it's so dope. There's also a design like this that only Sir Sturdy has in the PS4 controller, which you guys will see later when we play Zombie Army 4. Make sure you tune in.
And then look at Sturdy. He decided to go out. He was so excited about this shit. He made himself into Captain America.
I did.
Look at him. He's got a shield and everything.
I do.
This guy, I appreciate you so much, brother. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the effort you just put in. You got the GIF going on the side. You got the movie poster. You're rocking the Captain America gear. You got the background. So I appreciate you, buddy.
Of course, man. I got to, show some love, show some support. I treat every show that I'm a guest on like it's my own show. So I always want it to look amazing. Any way I can help, I want to make it look and sound amazing. So I'm like, that's how I want my show to be, and that's how I want my guests to be when they come on. So I got to show. I do the same thing. You got to do what you expect. You get what you give. You give back. You get what you give out. You get what I'm trying to say.
Much love, brother. Much love. All right, so let's kick this shit off.
Yes.
Captain America, the first Avenger. So, what did you kind of expect going into this when you first, hit the play button? Did you have any expectations? Did you not?
Not necessarily. Like, I didn't know what to think. But honestly, what I can say with this movie right here, which kind of makes it pretty cool, is this can be damn near like any American war movie. You know what I mean? Instead of Captain America, it's fucking Tom Hanks' character playing, Tom Hanks' character. And just you know what I mean? Except for those big names, not even just the heroes' names, but you get what I'm saying. Like somebody gets in there, they fucking show heart, whatever, determination, then they get in, they're boom, whatever. Minus the serum and all that. So that's what I think is kind of cool about this movie. And then it was a real good fucking film though, because I'm just like it shows you why Captain America not only is the first Avenger, but just like why everybody respects him in the Avengers. Why everybody respects him so much because of his character, because he's so strong and powerful. He could damn near do whatever the fuck he wants, but he's just like, no. Like, his heart is what his strongest attribute is.
Yep.
And I love how he kept that promise to the doctor when he was like, just make sure you touch his heart. He's like, just stay how you are here.
Yep.
No matter how big and strong you get. And he's like, the reason why I chose you is because you always had a heart, but you were weak. So when you have muscle, I forgot what he said verbatim, but basically, if you already have the muscle, you're going to be a cocky asshole.
Yep. Especially
when you know that you're damn near indestructible. But if you're coming up from nothing to that, you're going to respect it more.
That's the whole point of Captain America, right? He's the American hero. He was the underdog. He was getting his ass kicked in fucking Brooklyn, right? He was this scrawny little kid. He wanted to go fight this war. I mean, I know it's a completely different time in the 40s where that's the ultimate thing you can do, right? You put up your sacrifice for your country. Like, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna be a warrior for my country, right? Which is super dope. And this kid actively wanted to do it, was actively denied time after time again. He kept making up, he kept risking prison time with felonies by changing his name, saying he lived in different places to hide the paper trail so that he could possibly be selected. And every recruiting center was like, nah, bro. Are you serious? Nah, bro. Now, to also speak to that, this CGI work with them putting his face on, this is probably one of the best, I think, in a long time. And it's gotten better from time, because we're talking this is 10, 11 years ago at this point. And that little guy is Chris Evans as a little guy. Like, they did a great job. His face doesn't look all fucked up and like shifty or anything at any points. Marvel did their thing, man. They paid some good artists. They paid some good, computer techs.
But they knew what they were doing with this. They did an excellent job with this. And again, going back to like how mentally tough he was, how much heart he had, I'm just like, holy shit. You could see why you'd call him an American hero, like a true American hero. He was like, I don't care what color you are, you're a good person, you're an American, you're a good person, whatever. I got your back.
Bro, and he was the first to jump on the grenade.
Yeah, that right there is what made people change their mind about him. Like the captain or the whatever he is, the lieutenant, whatever. Yeah, I'm not
Tommy
sure.
Tommy Lee's character, Tommy Lee Jones.
He was just like, holy shit, like this guy really has heart. Because everybody else with the muscles ran, and he was just like, no, I'm gonna take this. And
so
there shows why he deserved to, get the serum, that shows why he deserved to be Captain America. That shows why he deserved to get the super serum, and just the first Avenger, all that shit. He earned that shit leading up to that, but that right there like took it over the top, like fuck. And then I'll say the next big thing he did is when he saved all those soldiers. Like, he was like, fuck it, I'm going there. I'm not leaving any man behind. And his best friend was out there. Like, I gotta go do something. I can't just sit here and wait.
Fucking Bucky.
Bucky, yeah. Bucky.
Like that whole shit with, the doctor who's leading the experiments or whatever, convincing Tommy Lee Jones, like, no, we got the right guy, Agent Carter, following her gut feeling, having the conversations with him, and like, you can even tell she had this fondness of even in his scrawny form in the cab, you know what I mean, when she was taking him to the facility. It's just, there was this instant kind of connection, which is super dope, you know what I mean? Which, that's what I mean about these movies and the acting in these movies, and I can't wait for you to keep going and see the development and the plots and the intertwining and everything that goes on, because by the time you're done with all of this, you're gonna be like, holy shit. And to think, like, it's taken us, 12, 15 years to get to this point with 27, 30 different movies, with another, like, 30 to come out. Like, I think altogether, what up, Joe? Glad to see you here. I think altogether with all of this stuff happening, with all of this things to come, I think I said it the other day, there's like 80 different Marvel things that are about to be combined all together throughout to make this. We're talking literal generations. You're talking generational wealth? Okay, yeah, they did that. They did that.
Oh, to answer your question, Joe, meatloaf and rice-a-roni. Got a few bites left. I got hungry again. And speaking of generational wealth, they have so much money. They have enough money to give us money. I'm just throwing it out there, Marvel. You have more than enough to give us money.
John Favreau, he's set for life. For his life, his kids' life, their kids' life. Like, ridiculous the amount of stuff between the shows and everything. Whew. It's nuts. It's nuts. You got... So then, we proceed down the line in the story. He goes into the chamber, right? They finally say, yep, we're going to use him, blah, 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 blah. Shit develops. He gets put in that chamber. Bro, could you imagine being this scrawny-ass dude getting strapped down into this chair willingly? Marvel went absolutely nuts. Marvel, I don't even understand how they kept it all in line and straight. And if you think about it, so quickly, because they were pumping these movies out like every 6 months to a year to keep schedules going with 3 movies a year, 4 movies a year. Like, then TV shows started coming, then these shorts started coming, then they had the animated series and stuff like that also played off some of these. Like, and then recently you got the what ifs that like throw stuff out and reimagine things, and now like it's crazy to think. And then for them to be able to do shit like that in the scope of time and the scope of alternate realities, like it gets later on. I don't want to ruin too much for Sturdy, even though I'm sure he knows some of that, because he is a first-time watch.
Over 30 minutes.
That's what I mean. There's over 30. I think there's 27 or 30 films plus the series, and then now with all of the next schedules of the phases, it's gonna end up being like 80 to 100 fucking IPs. It's insane, and they kept it all straight, and not even all the same writing staff and all that for everything, but it's all in line, it's all in path. That is something that no one will ever be able to discredit. Ever.
It may not ever be done again. On top of it.
Like, we had a discussion the other day based on that episode of Creep Show that we reviewed. With the virtual reality, right? The VR and all that stuff. Could you imagine walking into this universe and being a part of it? You know what I mean? That's why I was like, yeah, there's got to be some superhero shit. There's got to be some shit that's like, yo, we know would never be in real life, so we gotta be there for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And this is the type of shit that I would want to walk into and be a part of and have these characters interact with me, but it'd be a simulation. Like, yes. This is part of the reason why we play video games. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
The immersion.
It's these. Excuse me. Speaking of the Captain America movie, first Avenger, it's just crazy how well. Even if I know they didn't go 100% with the comic books, but just how well they told a story in general that kept you. Because there were some slow parts, but it wasn't bad. They were still entertaining.
Yep.
So it kept you going, and then like once the movie picked up, it really kind of just went. Which other Marvel movies, which when we get there, we'll talk about those, are pretty much the same way, but they do it in such a great way of telling such it's like an awesome action movie. These are like action movies with an actual story that matter, and they're damn near perfect, which is fucking like holy shit! I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting these to be. I wasn't expecting to enjoy these films about as much or damn near as close to as much as I enjoy the animated shows and animated series. I feel like those are like perfect to me. And with this film alone, I was just like, wow, this was a great. Like what I like about these is again, it's an action film, yes, which draws you in, but then it's also telling like a really cool story if you really pay attention to it for that.
Yep.
What you usually do now in your adult ages, especially the nerds, the comic book nerds, and all that. Shout out to you guys. You really pay attention to all that shit, and I just feel like they did an excellent job. Again, I'm not a comic book person, but just from what I've seen in the cartoons, I'll say, and just from what I've talked to people about. Again, I know it's not straight comic book. I thought this movie was amazing.
The build is so worth it.
I have a rating in mind. I don't know how you want to do ratings on here, Chris.
We'll wait a little bit. I want to discuss it more, because like you said, the build, the story, and how they build up, how it's kind of slow paced at first, and then there's a transitional period, and then there's so much of a snowball effect, and then there's the climax. But then, as you saw at the end, it leaves you with like a cliffhanger. You want more, and there's gonna be more. So it's like, oh, I can't wait. That's like their formula, and it's consistent, which is super dope. So, he transitions in from the machine, he gets the serum, he turns into this big dude, which is the Chris Evans that everybody knows in real life, that toned up for the movie and everything. He goes on this wild chase, running down the street, bare fucking foot, chasing a car. Like, granted, the cars from the, 40s, 50s weren't that fast. You know what I'm saying? But still, for him to be able to run 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, you know what I mean? Like, that's fucking dope. You know what I mean? Him to be able to leap in single bounds, that was as close to Superman as you can get type shit. You know what I mean? Which, we're not talking about DC here. We're talking about how great Marvel is. There's so many aspects of these movies to dive into. But I love, rewatching these movies again. Like I told you, I went through the entire MCU verse about a month and a half ago, and I didn't turn on my camera like I said I was gonna to do these. So that's why I said, fuck it, let's do this and let's start these here. But if you watch these in a high quality stream or on the Blu-ray, 4K, UHD, like, you will be blown away by the editing that they did, by the way they did their post-production, by the smoothness and the quality of these films. For everything, the effects are fucking awesome. The crispness is there. Like, it fucking excites me to watch movies like this, because to me, if it looks shitty, you're not in it as much. You're not as vested. You know what I mean? The story can be as good as it can fucking be. Your villains can be as great as they can be, as evil as they can be. The battles can be super dope. But if it doesn't look good and it's not as tight as they do with all of these movies, it rips you apart out of it a little bit, so much that you're still not fully there. You're still not fully connected.
Yeah, no. But with these type of films, though, I feel like because of they're telling an actual story, they also have to have great acting. They can't have mediocre acting like Aquaman and shitty. Because I'm just saying, the way it looked was garbage. The acting, trash movie. Throw it in the trash can. I know we're not talking about DC, but just because of how you were talking about how amazing Marvel looks, how amazing the acting is in Marvel, how amazing the stories are in Marvel. It's been around. It's been going on for these past however many years for a great reason. And I feel like every single movie that I've seen gets better and better. Each freaking film gets better and better. how many franchises can do that consistently with 5 movies, let alone damn near 30?
Exactly.
That's wild. That's fucking wild.
Exactly. And
That's
that's why people love this stuff.
Yeah.
They draw you in. They tell a great story. And to credit again the acting, like you just said. I mean, yes, Hugo, you know, who I forget his last name, but the dude who played Agent Smith in The Matrix, he plays the Red Skull in this one. Hugo Weaving. He was at that point kind of like one of the guys, right? He just came off of Agent Smith. It's like, all right, we need this. He's a world-class actor, blah, blah, blah. But Chris Evans wasn't really much of anybody. You know what I mean? He had a couple under his belt, but it wasn't like, oh my God. And people were like, oh, okay, he's going to be Captain America. They didn't really want to know. And then they started seeing shots of him ripped up on like Men's Health and all this other shit. And it's like, okay. And then they see him in the costume and it becomes real. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, this is the true life fruition of these comic books. This is as close to what the comic was as you can get for the imagery and all that. So with the story developing, with seeing him leading Hydra, you know, them depicting that whole thing and the nature of Hydra with the world events from the time of the 40s and World War II and with, you know, the Nazis and all that stuff. And then this being a subdivision that's trying to take over the Nazis to rule the world and just like forget the Nazi regime. Hail Hydra. It's like, all right, cool spins to shit. You know what I mean? Cool spins to shit. Wow.
I was about to say something. I forgot what I was going to say for a second. I had something right there. I hate when I do that shit.
You know,
no, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
Go ahead.
You missed it. The inclusion of like the new technology that Hydra's working on, right, and the development of it, and to see his thirst for power and like how he's going about it. And there's this thing, the Tesseract or whatever that he found. You know, he broke into the sanctuary, he rips it from them, he finds where they were hiding it, and then has his scientists start to develop it. His scientist even shows a fear for it, right? Even the Madman is like, this guy's even madder than me. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And then to see him test it out immediately and sacrifice his own guys, it's like, shit. And then you see, as it's going, okay, there's something else about this guy. And that reveal, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, the Red Skull, which was dope. And, you know, it's, again, this is my first time watch. So when you first see the Red Skull, in human form, of course. When you see his car pull up and see the skull, I already knew. As soon as I seen that car pull up with the skull on the grill, I was like, that's the Red Skull. That's going to be the Red Skull.
Which, by the way, that car was kind of dope. That really stretched fucking... I don't even know what the hell that was. Like, I don't even know if that was a real car that they... Or one day just kind of designed and made for the movie. But that shit was sick.
Yeah, it was nice.
That shit
I love
was
that
sick.
style. The real old 1940s, 1930s, 40s, whatever it is. Those are dope.
So, first opening scene. I'm just gonna jump back real quick. Being found in the goddamn ice.
Oh.
Like, hey, this guy's waited long enough. I was like, the first time I watched it, I was like, there's a dude under there? Like, okay, he survived this? But he's fucking Captain America, you know what I mean? He jumps into this whole story. Now, the development furthers with the experiments that are going on. And then you're introduced to the World Fair in New York City, which, you know, happens. It had the globe in Flushing Meadow Park and all that by the old Shea Stadium. And it's like cool to see that inclusion and kind of meld of the worlds, right? They do it all the time. Even like Spider-Man's always done it. He's from the Big Apple and all that stuff. You know, Batman is essentially Gotham is Hell's Kitchen in New York City type shit. You know what I mean? But for that, I loved it. I love that shit, man. I really do. To see Brooklyn of that time, to see him develop, become Captain America, get through the training and like them try to test him out, but then they fucking put him on a shelf.
Yeah.
They make him a luxury item. They make him a goddamn... what do you even call it when you're just a pariah? You're just I don't even know.
Because it's like they're like, we're going to put you here till we really need you. Like at that emergency button. You break the glass,
But you're gonna go around and act tough and do performances instead of actually fucking beating some ass and doing like he had to fight to even be sent out.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm going. I'm Captain America. I have to go. I'm the captain of these guys. Like, oh, you are? Yeah. And then he goes in and he's fucking by himself pretty much. And then they're like, okay, let's back him. You know what I mean? To go get their crew out in the team.
Like, he had to prove himself by saving, what was it, like over 400 people or some shit. Like, yeah. Now we believe in you. What the fuck?
Oh, there's so many aspects with Tony Stark's father being there, the shield being developed. I can't wait.
They mentioned how it was made out of vibranium.
Exactly. And it's just making me smile because I can't wait for more of these, things for you to be seen and draw the connections and the lines. You know what I mean? Because there's so many little things and so many details that just, like, honestly, it took me several watches of these. Like, this wasn't my first time, and this wasn't my first time watching them all. Like, this is probably, honestly, and it's I know there's more people out there that have done it or gone even further, but honestly, watching the entire MCU, this is probably my 5th, maybe 6th time watching all of these movies through and through. And I'm talking even up to the point of, like, the last phase, and then finally watching those a few times, and then now watching it all completely through. So essentially, every time there was a new phase release, I watched all these movies, like, repeatedly. And kept picking things up, kept noticing things, kept remembering things, kept watching and picking things out in other movies that were coming and thinking about. And then as you get, they just do such a fantastic job.
They do. Like, it's almost like we're being spoiled by how well these films were done. And, like, again, I've seen a few of these Marvel films, not in chronological order, but I've seen a few of these films. And what I will say is, going back to my Horror Research 30 podcast, just bringing up horror real quick, I did watch, we didn't review them in chronological order. We only reviewed The Conjuring, I believe, from that. But The Conjuring universe, like, watch that in chronological order.
Yep.
I love The Conjuring. Like, that's one of my favorite horror movies of, like, the newer times, I guess. That made me love it even more, and it made me enjoy the other films of that universe even more. And I know that this is going to make me do the same thing with this whole franchise, this whole universe. And, like, when I get to the films that I've already seen, I'm going to like those even more than I did the first time, because it's like, oh shit, I love how it connected with the first, you know what I mean? Yeah. So on and so forth. And then you have the end scene credits and shit. It's like, yeah, it's fucking, how did they do it? How do you have so many fucking hits? How do you have so many? I haven't seen every single film, so I don't know if every single film is great or excellent or fucking whatever you want to call the ratings, which we'll get to, like Chris said. But there's no way in hell you can do a 30 film universe, let's just say 30 films as of right now, without hitting, let's say, 95%, if not higher. Like, it has to be a huge percentage. It can't be like, you know what I mean? It can't be like 65, 70%. It has to be like 95.
Yeah. Like, what? Let me go real quick. I'm gonna pull up IMDb real quick. Everybody kind of goes there for their gauge, right? Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to IMDb
and see what they're giving their overall rating for this film.
For this one, yeah.
Now, do you want to tell me IMDb's rating, or do you want my rating first?
No, we're gonna just discuss IMDb's. All right, so because like you were saying, like it's tough to tell, as movies go on, like, and once we start to give number ratings, we'll be able to figure out which ones we think are the best, blah 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 blah. But that then brings to light another question for me is, well, does the overall rating of the film necessarily play a role in its importance in the MCU? Because a film, there may be an MCU movie that isn't as highly rated, or we don't think is as good as some of the other movies, but it may be more important for the storytelling aspect of it and for the whole universe and, like, the connections than some of the other films that may have rated higher. You know what I mean? There may be films we give 9, 10s, who knows? But there may be films that we give 6, 7s, but at the same time, for the continuity of the universe to be intact and all that stuff, are those 7, 8s, those 6s more important than even some of those 8, 9, 10s?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for IMDb, they gave this movie a 6.9 on the Raiders. 6.9. Okay. I mean, fair, right? It's above average. It's not a stellar, right? I mean, that's almost a 70%. Like, we can call it a 70% if you want to round up to the 10th. You know, who cares? I mean, essentially, it's a 70. It is not nowhere near the first Hulks with Ed Norton, because I think those were bags of shit. Even though I loved Ed Norton, I think they fucking ruined those. But that's also why they redid them and why they're not included or any part of the MCU, because they knew they were.
They knew they fucked up.
They knew it was like, yeah.
But what you can say, though, to give them credit, is they fixed it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing about falling, right? That's the thing about a failure. It's not about what about the fail. It's about how you get up or how you learn from it and you make better, right?
Yeah. How you pick yourself up and all that good stuff.
See, to take into light, the first Hulk from 2003, IMDb with 263,000 reviews, 5.6, which,
wow. Wow. All I can say about that is
agree with. I feel like that might be a little bit on the generous side, but I do agree with it for the most part.
For this movie?
No, for the Hulk from 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, not for this movie.
I was about to. Wow.
He's about to hit me. He was about to come through the screen and be like, "Nah, bro, forget this. I'm leaving your podcast."
I'm about to change the skull from the red skull.
It's like, I need a drink. Any more?
From the red skull to the worst damn skull. That's what it turned.
You jump forward. Was it 5 years to 2008? They tried to do the remake with Ed Norton. They got a little bit better. This one had 470,000 voters on IMDb, and this one's got a 6.6.
Wow.
A whole point better. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then you take, not to, because I don't know if I should say it or not, but I don't want it to. Wait, there wasn't a new Hulk, right? He just came out in. Yeah, no, he just came out in the Avengers and stuff. All right, so either way, they said fuck the Hulk at that point. They said, we're not even gonna fuck with the Hulk. We're just gonna include him. We're gonna change them all together. We're just gonna include him. And you know what? I'm not mad at it.
No,
I'm not mad at it.
Not at all.
They said, we're not doing this shit again. We learned. Like,
keep fucking up.
We're good. We got some other shit in on the pot cooking and stewing. All right.
Oh, shit.
So I'm trying to think what came next with this Captain America. He goes to war. He saves his guys. Right. His guys start to back him. Then he's trying to get out that facility. He gets into the big fight. Right. He's chasing everything. He's trying to save his buddy Bucky. That whole scene where he first meets the Red Skull face to face, and he's got to try to escape. Bucky jumps across the big platform, climbs up over. He's like, "Go ahead, try." Blah 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 blah. And it's like another display of just greatness, right? On how he escapes, how he gets across, all this stuff. And then it starts to get closer and closer to that climactic build at the end of the movie, right? You see fucking homegirl in the theater like, oh shit, that's Rogers. Oh shit, that's some real shit. Oh shit, like, you see her heart start to pitter-patter a little bit. You know what I mean? You got Bucky on the fucking sniper shit. It's like, oh man, oh man, oh man. Like, it just gets better and better as this movie goes till the end, till it gets there, and you're just like, what's up?
No, because I have it playing in the background. That scene that I have for my thingy over here literally just happened. Like, I was looking at that and looking at that. I was like, oh shit,
yeah.
That was dope.
Oh.
That was dope.
All right,
Like,
so yeah, the Red Skull
what did you say that the IMDb rating was for this overall?
for this movie.
Yeah.
I want to say it was a 6.9. Where is Captain America: First Avenger? 6.9. But the nice part about this one is they had 808,000 reviews, votes.
That's awesome.
Now, like I said, 7 is like respectable. It's better. It's more than above average. You know what I mean? It's not the middle of the road. It's not a piece of shit. It's not oh my god for everybody. You know. So at the end, so let's start moving towards the end here, right? You got the whole clan. He saved everybody. There's the big explosions and the fights. It looks great, or visually. The cinematography looks dope. The scenes in the background looks dope. The color grading looks fucking dope. We start to get to this big battle and everything. The face is revealed. All this shit. The guns are going off, right? All these extra weapons. They even, to me, it felt like a throwback and kind of credit to a little bit of Star Wars and James Bond mix, because there's that whole bike chase scene with the weird looking motorcycles. He's got the flamethrower out the backside. He's got the fucking cords that shoot out to the trees to clothesline the guys and shit. So to me, that reminds me of some of the scenes on the speeder chases and shit from some of the Star Wars movies. And then you got the James Bond super spy aspect. So there was a little bit of them playing with some sci-fi and then some fucking, spy agent shit and everything. So I enjoyed that. But as we get closer there to the end, what was your feelings on it at that point? As far as like, okay, so you've made it this far, you saw the slow build, you saw him kind of come to, I guess, out of his shell and actually engage now with his role of actually being Captain America. Like, were you excited to see that? Were you happy to see that? Did you feel like they did him justice in that point?
I was excited to see, like, from beginning to end, I was, like, attached to this fucking film. Like, they just did such an excellent job. Again, like I've said on Horror Research 30, I love slow burns. And this wasn't like a slow burn, but it had a kind of a slowish build-up, I guess. But like, again, once it started, and it made you tune in. It made you really interested in the story, but again, because of the way they told the story, like, they didn't tell the story boring, they made it entertaining. They had some funny parts in it, real quick, some one-liners or whatever. Then they had some like entertaining parts, some interesting parts, and just like, oh shit. Then they had some parts where you just want to like shut up and really listen to the story and like, wow, holy shit, this movie is fucking amazing. And then again, going down the road, which I know I'm gonna say over and over, once you see how they connect, you're just like, wow, why the fuck didn't I watch this sooner? Is what I'm thinking to myself right now. Why the fuck didn't I watch this sooner?
I'm so glad. I am so glad that you said that it made you want to be vested in the story and pay attention. Because, like you said, this being the first in the timeline, the first Avenger movie, like, if you go back into the Marvel records there or whatnot, this wasn't even the first Marvel movie, right? Because we had the whole
Iron Man,
yeah, exactly. And then Iron Man came on. Iron Man was the first one to like, all right, here's what we're doing. We're gonna see how this does, and then we're gonna move forward. And Iron Man fucking blew shit, right? The CG was fucking revolutionary for the time. This guy's a robot flying through the air with a man inside of him, and it looked almost flawless. It looked almost seamless. Like, they did a great job for what, 2003, 2004 for that movie. Like, it was insane. So I'm glad that when we start here, even though that's not the first one, this did such a good job at making someone like you stay and want to watch it, and you just use the words amazing. So to me, that's fucking dope. That's fucking dope.
I mean, it brings you back to your, I guess you could almost say to your childhood, but even adulthood, you enjoy it. And it makes you, like, when you watch the animated series, I'll say, this is what you want the movie to look like. Like, I mean, I know this isn't touching the animated series as far as like how they tell the story and stuff, but just the way they told the story in real life, the real live action, what I mean by that, it keeps you invested, like, as much as the animated series would for people that are, if you're as big a fan as animated series as I am, you get what I'm saying with that.
Oh,
and it's
absolutely.
so awesome how it just not only told the story but showed the story to keep you invested, because it can have an awesome story but look like shit and you're just like, I'm not that invested. Or it could look amazing, the story can suck and you're like, it looks cool but I'm not really that invested, I just want to see cool explosions and that's it. But this, you get everything. You get the story, you get the explosions, you get everything. You're just like, holy shit. It makes you care about the characters.
Exactly, and that's the kind of the era that we're in right now. I got the trailer going right now while I'm talking, so I'm not on screen to shush you at the moment. But that's kind of the where I feel we are at an era, because technology is so good, cameras are so good that you can make a shitbag movie look so good so easily, but then the movie falls apart on its own for when it with its sustenance. It's just not there when it comes to the attention to detail in the character development. It's not there when it comes to the dialogue that's happening within the movie and the characters. It's not carrying itself to go across with what they're trying to deliver, and it becomes a subpar movie experience that's being delivered on a lot of counts nowadays. And it sucks because movies did so much more with so much less in the past to make people want to watch them, make people want to run to the theater, make people want to have their families have a movie night and chill and sit with the popcorn, go back to the days of Hollywood Video and Blockbuster Video, running and looking for a VHS, grabbing some candy and getting your bundle deal, you know what I'm saying? Getting a video game for the kids so the kids can leave you the fuck alone too. You know what I mean? Like, after the movie's done, these little motherfuckers are hopped up on Mountain Dew and candy and Twizzlers, so they need to go sit down and play a video game or something. You know what I mean? Like, but nowadays it's so easy to make a movie look so good that it's almost disappointing at times to get through some of these movies because it's just lackluster other than visually.
Very, very freaking true. I mean, you know it just as well as anybody now, and you're welcome for this. You know where I'm going.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Horror, there's some things that's visually amazing and the story's garbage.
Yeah.
And then vice versa, where it's not visually amazing, but the story's like, holy shit, if they had the budget to really do this movie could be excellent. And I love how, again, going back, I love how this is both. This is both. Not shitting on horror, because you guys know it's my favorite genre. I love that shit. Yeah. But this is what you want when you want a Marvel film. This is what you want when you want a comic book film. If you wanted a DC film, you wanted it to tell a story like this and look this visually beautiful. DC, step up.
It's a blessing and a curse, right? Because, like you said, we get kind of spoiled, and like movies like this, movies like the remake of Mortal Kombat, right? Stuff like that in the past it was a shortcoming because they were just so restricted with what they could do. Where now literally anything can be made and seen and look on a screen so well that we get spoiled. We're just expecting it now. We literally are like, well, if this ray gun doesn't shoot this way and it doesn't look like this when it explodes or something, we're just like, like we're not even impressed anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, it's super tough to not want to see quality like this. And like, when the bar is set this high by companies like this and Lucasfilms and shit like that got the budgets, everything else is like, you got to find a reason to be like, kudos, bro. And usually the reason is like, well, they only had $100K. Like they didn't have fucking $50 million, $100 million. They only had like $100K.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm kind of in the middle with that, because it depends on the budget, depends on the type of film. So where I'm just like, okay, like for me, if it's a Marvel film, I expect spectacular. But if it's like, let's just say a B movie, no matter what genre, I'm expecting entertaining. I'm expecting to at least be entertained. I'm not expecting like spectacular, visually and all that other stuff. But again, with a Marvel budget, you gotta fucking knock it out of the park. You have to. And the reason why I say you have to is because imagine them coming up with all this money, doing all this stuff for Marvel, right? And it flops. That could end that whole fucking, whoever create that studio, whatever studio, that could just, boom, you're bankrupt now, you're done.
Marvel actually almost flopped several times in the past. So like with the cartoons and shit, they almost went out. Like the X-Men cartoons saved them. Fucking, like they almost went out. And then fucking after these movies and Hulk and all this shit, like Iron Man saved their fucking ass. Then when fucking because this was this was Paramount. Then there was a couple that had Fox Studios doing some shit because Disney owned them, and this is when Disney took them over. That saved their ass. Like that's what reinvigorated them, and then they just kept snowballing and going and going and going and going and going. But fucking Stan Lee was almost broke on the street several times in his life with these comics and with their shows and shit. Like it got changed several times. If you watch the X-Men 90s, well, it's coming out now, X-Men 97, but the old ones from like 92, 94, you can see that even the logos changed because ownership changed and they got bought out. So Marvel, it was no longer Marvel Studios, or Marvel Comics, then it was Marvel Studios, and then they had to rebrand and file bankruptcy a couple times and do a bunch of things. But it took them so long to be able to sustain and stay alive to almost lose it again, and then finally reach a point where someone backed them enough with enough money to make a movie like an Iron Man that then led the way for this movie, Captain America, and all these other subsequent movies to come. So it was a fucking blessing. It was a long uphill battle. That man, fucking Stan Lee, I don't know how he stood alive as long as he did, because I'm sure his heart was beating more than the average man ever was at all these tough times in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, but he knew something had to, like, listen.
He was always on the forefront of shit. I mean, look, you started making characters that were, gender, causing conspiracy. There was, this whole aspect of mutants and all this stuff, but that was a play on the politicalness of the times and racism and all this other shit, you know what I mean? So he knew eventually the times were going to change. He knew that people were going to be drawn to this shit. They were going to connect to this shit. Because everywhere you look, somebody feels like they're an outsider. Everyone feels like there's something wrong with them, or, they have flaws about them that they wish they didn't have, but at the same time, they're blessings. You know what I mean? Like, there's silver lining to it. And these are the stories he was telling through this shit. Captain America was kind of a different one because he was man-made.
Yeah, but I mean, it shows the heart and everything. Like, he would have went there scrawny to fight.
Yep.
Like, he would have, everything he did as Captain America, he would have attempted as just regular Steve Rogers because of his heart. Now, he would have failed at it, but he would have attempted.
Yeah,
he would have attempted.
He would have been saying, I could do this all day. For how many times? You know what I mean? You don't know when to stay down, do you? Kidding me? I could do this all day. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
Which was, this, again, man, this was just fucking, I'm just amazed on how well they did with this film. Like, I'm really amazed by it, because, like, I was expecting it to be great, I'm not gonna lie to you, but just still, like, it amazes me that it hit my expectations, probably raised them a little bit.
Okay.
Which is always a good thing. Is always a good thing.
Now, what did you think of the firefight in the sky at the end?
It didn't bother me.
Okay.
Wasn't my favorite part, but it didn't bother me.
So you said you're not a Star Wars fan, right?
No, I'm not. I like it. I can't even say I love it, but I'm not like a deep dive fan that knows everything about it.
Alright.
But
even though it was a military dogfight, it just felt like a Star Wars scene to me, to be honest with you. It even had the swivel head gun that looked like one of the gunner ship robots, like an R2-D2 type thing, fucking shooting at the other planes. Because, I mean, technically this was alien technology, you know what I mean? The Tesseract and all this shit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like, finally the payoff with him, taking care of the Red Skull, and then you see how and why he ended up frozen. His last words to Peggy fucking Carter, like, hey, I'm sorry I'm not going to make it to that dance, you know what I mean? That they promised each other. It's like, fuck, man. Like, that's like the final tug at the sentiment chords, you know what I mean? For the movie and everything.
Tucked you in the field there.
Yeah, and like, it makes you want, like, fuck, I thought he was gonna get the girl, you know what I mean? Even though, if you already know the story of Captain America, you already know what the fuck happens, but still. But that's a good thing about these movies. For those quick moments, it makes you do that, like, if you don't know what to expect sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for those people who may be a fan of, say, just the Marvel cartoons, but I don't know how deep the cartoons went because I don't remember. And then you want to check out these films, you've never seen them before, and you don't know the stories, just go right into these films blind, like I'm doing. Again, I've seen some of them, and I know some of the stories here and there because of cartoons and stuff. But just go into them, watch them, and enjoy them. And I say if you're going to watch them for the very first time, don't watch them in the order that they came out. Watch them in the chronological, like Marvel Universe order. You'll have a way better time with it. And I'm only saying this speaking from experience over on the horror thing on Horror Research 30 with the Conjuring universe. Like I enjoyed it so much because I watched the Conjuring first and I watched all the other films after.
Yep.
But then I did it again, but chronologically, right? The correct way with the wife. So much better. So much freaking better. Like it was almost like night and day. Like it made you enjoy every single film better, from the ones that you really loved to the ones that you're just like, you know what, they're okay, and they jumped to good for me. I'll say that they jumped to good, some even great. Like wow, holy shit.
Yeah, and you know, with Hollywood being the way it is, it's tough to get movies made in that nature where it actually is so coherent because of the budgets that need to be done. They have to have movies that are made to make more money, to put more budget towards other things and pay for shit, right? Move it around, keep interest going. Because if think about it, if you would have had this one, like it would have made you kind of like, all right. But then you got to plan the succession and like the delivery of it all so that it stays engaging and doesn't get played out. So breaking it up the way they did, you know what I mean, made sense for it. But now that we got the streaming services and we have methods to be able to go back and watch the story, like if we're reading a catalog of books, you know, of novels or whatnot, to make this universe come to life, it's like, it's worth it. Especially now, it's so worth it. So worth it. I forgot what it was. I think it was like 3,000 minutes or something like that to watch the entire MCU movies. Now, that sounds like a lot because it equates to about 50 hours of your life, which is a lot, but that's only, think about it, that's only about a week of your work, right? That you do at your job. So, at least you enjoy this. At least this gives you some type of satisfaction and payoff, other than, you know, your job gives you your check and allows you to live a lifestyle that you want and all that shit. But this is something that is an experience. It's a memory. It's a story you get to re-engage with. It's a story you get to reiterate and tell other people and talk to about who were interested in it. You can see their perspective on it because they may have interpreted things differently than you did watching it. They might have remembered a bit that you didn't absorb. You know what I mean? They may have caught something. They watched it fucking 10 times and now they know all the little Easter eggs or whatever. You know what I mean? They may have deep dive. Like people on the internet will do movies or reviews or content that's like everything wrong with such and such movie or plot holes and such, which is cool. It's great. You know what I mean? It also shows you other aspects and might show you things you didn't get or reasons you didn't understand something, in fact. But at the same time, I think it's really tough for these series to have those be a thing, which I know they are a thing, but you have to dig harder and deeper to try to find them because they did such a great job with the attention to detail. You know, I loved it. You know what I mean? Like this was honestly, since we're gonna be getting close to wrapping up here, we're gonna finally start discussing some actual ratings or whatnot. This was one of my probably mid to least favorite of the entire MCU universe.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Interesting.
Believe it or not. This as good as it was.
You know what? I believe it though, because as we were saying earlier, like I haven't seen them in chronological order, and I haven't seen the majority of these films, but the ones I've seen, they do get better. I will say that. But so I could see that. But I don't think this is a bad film at all.
No, not by far.
Don't worry.
Not by far. You know how I am. I say it all the time on your show. If a movie is a 5, it's borderline. Anything under a 5, I try to steer people away close to like, hey, don't even watch it. Don't bother. Like
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah,
I'll never not to watch a film. I'll say watch it for those type of films that are really bad for me, or films that I hate, like Blood Lake. Yeah, I had to mention it. But I'm never gonna tell you not to. I'll still tell you to watch at your own risk. Hey. If you want to know how we feel about Blood Lake, check out Horror with Source 30. Go right on YouTube, type in Horror with Source 30 Blood Lake movie review.
Yeah.
And you'll see.
Yeah.
And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, Blood Lake is on Tubi.
Everybody was fucking pissed that episode.
Yes.
Everybody.
Especially James.
So, all right. So with that being said, since we're coming up on just over an hour here. Oh,
sir. Your first episode, man. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I hope I kept the energy up. I hope I kept it engaging for you and everybody. Now, hearing IMDb, hopefully that didn't alter, sway, or, influence your score anymore. What did you think of this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
I got one more question. What did IMDb give it again? A 7?
6.9, yep.
No. This was an 8 for me. This was an 8. This was fucking awesome. If I had things set up, this would be the Search 30. This would get a Search 30 stamp of approval. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot for this universe.
Okay.
And I'll try to have it set up for next episode. But this was amazing. This was an absolute 8 for me. IMDb, nice. I don't know what you're talking about. But hey, you guys rate what you want to rate it though. It's your own opinions.
There you go.
What about you?
So, like I just said a few minutes ago, this was one of my least favorite in the entire MCU.
Uh-oh.
All right. And now you know how I am, that I go, yo, it's a blockbuster movie. There's no way this shit should be anything lower than an 8 with a budget like this. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking did it. They hit it. This was one of my least favorite movies in the entire MCU. It still gets an 8 for me. It still gets a watch. It still gets a, yo, what the fuck, you need to watch this. If you've never seen the MCU, you've never seen this movie, you have to watch this movie. It is one of the best ways to kick off such an immersive universes with characters that you want to see, that you care about. And when the movie ends, it starts off at the end and then it begins at the end. Like, it's fucking amazing. You see a man in ice, that was the end of his story. And then he's out of the ice at the end of it to begin the story for the rest of his life and the next chapters and all of the extra fucking 29 movies that come.
And on top of that, people, most importantly, that's how Vanilla Ice's career started. He formed in ice. When that ice melted, you got Ninja Rap, and you got Ice Ice Baby, and whatever else he did.
This shit introduces you to Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. It introduces you to Tony Stark's father. It introduces you to Agent Carter, which has her own series with 2 or 3 seasons. It introduces you to the Red Skull, which eventually, I don't want to spoil shit, but may or may not, introduces you to Captain America. It introduces you to Bucky. It introduces you to, let's see, what else? The Tesseract, which in the next probably 4 or 5 movies after makes a huge fucking reason and difference, and part of these stories blows the shit wide open. It introduces you to concepts about shit that comes out in movies 8, 9, 10, all the way through fucking 30. This is the pinnacle in how to start a goddamn story. It leaves you on a cliffhanger. It leaves you with a clip at the end that then introduces you to other characters that you're going to see later that are vital and pivotal to the development of the whole clan of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
For them to be that forward thinking, you would be absolutely insane to watch this movie and be like, it was shit. The story is horrible. The cinematography sucked. The editing sucked. There's plot holes everywhere. There's this, there's that, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. All the haters that can say, like, 7 is respectable, 8's even better. But I'm giving it an 8 for my reasons that this is one of my least favorite in the MCU. But it's still a fucking 8. It's not you can't take shit away from an 8.
No, you can't. You really, I mean, again, if you're someone who's never seen, say if you've never watched any of these films, I still say start with this one. I know they dropped Iron Man for a reason. It kind of drags you in with the action and all that good shit, which is smart. But if you've never seen any of these films, or if you have and just haven't watched them in chronological order, either way, start it in chronological order. You could do just the movies. You could do the movies and the shorts. You could do the movies, the shorts, and the shows if you want, all of it. But I at the very least, I'll say do all the movies from this one to whatever's out now.
If you got the stomach, get the shorts. If you really got the stomach, you want to be a diehard, get the shorts, get every series. Because by the time you get to the end and you get to the series, let me stop saying the end because this shit's. I'm gonna be old and gray by the time this shit ends. By the time you get to the current spot where it's concluded at the moment, just to be continued type shit with everything that's coming out. I mean, even just now, the new Spider-Man movie that just came out plays into this and expands it even further. And man, there's so much shit. So much shit. If you don't watch it in chronological order, there are going to be things that you're scratching your head about. But once you do watch it in chronological order and it completely makes sense and you see the vastness of this shit and you really see how complicated some of this shit is and how in-depth it is, there's no way in hell you can watch this and go, these movies suck. This universe is stupid. This was a waste of time. You would be literally in the 1%, and that's the 1% that every day of the week will get your fucking ass kicked.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can't shit on these movies. I mean, I'm sure there's people who don't like them, which again, you have your own opinions, but these are fucking amazing.
And they're wrong.
These are amazing. These are films that, like, again, this is something that where you want to have a date night with the wife, and you want to watch something that you really enjoy that she would get into because of the story. Throw on something like this. I guarantee it.
Exactly. My girl is even the biggest like action movie fan. She has not complained ever once about watching these movies. And I used to religiously set my calendar to go to the fucking theater to watch these when they were dropping. Mm-hmm. I literally have seen all but maybe 3 or 4 of these in the theater.
Mm-hmm. I wish I wish I was those that went and seen every single one of these in theaters. I would love to fucking own a theater just to watch. I mean, not just for these type of films, but I'd also love to have horror films. But to go back and just watch certain films I've never seen in theater, where it's like, yo, you need to see this. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna watch everything in theater because I have one right in my house. So let me just throw this shit in.
Even if you don't, even if you don't have the bread to build a theater in your house, listen, if you got a decent surround sound system and you got a decent fucking, like, 4K TV, turn the lights down, close the shades, crank that motherfucker up, fuck the neighbors if you got neighbors, fuck your dog if they don't like the noise, whatever. Watch these movies the way they're intended to be watched, as if you're there, as if you're living in that space. Because, my dude, there's no other way for you to completely feel it. And, like, yes, you can watch it, you can enjoy it, and it's like, yo, this is dope, I want to see another one. But when you fucking make the setting right and the mood right, you walk out wanting to be a goddamn superhero. You get up from your goddamn couch like, oh my god, I can't wait for that. Like, that shit was fucking dope. It just makes you fucking excited again. It makes you want to get up like you're a fucking little kid and start fucking breaking shit.
Breaking shit. But it's fucking, it's like, whoa.
Because it's what it should be. It's an experience. You feel the vibrations. You hear the bass drops. You hear the explosions. You hear the punches and the cracks. You see the shit. The movements on the screen are fast and crisp. But with 4K and high def now, you know what I mean? Like movies like this, movies like the Transformer movies, where they do such a great job on that detail, and they were in this era of technology for them to be able to do it. Like, yeah. It's like video games. I mean, we went from fucking Pong to some of these games are so photorealistic that I'm double taking at some of this shit as I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
Looking at shit in the distance like, god damn. And I still have not even played an actual 4K game on my 4K TV. I still don't have a PlayStation 4 fucking Pro. I still don't have an Xbox Series X. I don't have an Xbox One X. Like, I can't wait till I get my hands on a PS5 on my TV and I get to play through a game again like God of War.
Because I get what you mean.
I was drooling over that game just at 1080. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to fucking experience that. Because I'm going to throw on my 7.1 headphones. I'm going to kick all the fuck the way back. The lights are going to be off. And I'm going to forget I even have a controller in my hand, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. And, like, for me, I don't know if I will get it or not. I kind of want to. But the Oculus, just for certain things, like, just the movie experience would be dope. And whatever the best view you can watch it with, but not only that, like, say if I'm just saying, just throwing it out here real quick, say if we had it, we all had it, and then you could start like a room with all of us without having to physically be there, but all of us in a room watching the same movie, starts at the same exact time, and we could be in there talking to each other. I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I do think that's kind of dope. It's crazy. The way technology's going, it's crazy, but it's still dope.
I still have not had a VR headset on my head. The last VR headset I had on my head was the fucking Virtual Boy back in the day.
Oh shit!
And that was bad. That made my head hurt. It was just a bunch of red lines and shit. Like, that was bad.
I've actually used one within the past maybe 6-7 years. I forgot when it was. I was at Best Buy with my older brother. He actually recorded me using it, and it was fun. I don't remember what the hell I was playing, but it was fun. I was like, I want one of these.
See, that's what I mean. If they can, I mean, and it's smaller screens and they're, made for your eyes or whatnot, especially like the ones when they first came out, you would put your Samsung Galaxy phone in and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I wanted to experience that. Every time I went to the goddamn store, it was broken or something, so I didn't get to see what that was like, you know what I mean? But me, I'm the type of person that like, I want to watch these news reports where they're like in the war area and look around, you know what I mean? I want to watch movies like this where I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, that's dope, but I still can't even fathom in my mind actually what it's like. So I can't wait, because by the time I finally do get one and get one in my hands, it's gonna be so far that I'm gonna think I'm into shit.
I got something for you. You mentioned Creepshow earlier, the episode we reviewed.
Yeah.
You guys will see it when you see it. But that episode we reviewed, now imagine having that VR setup to where you could be in one of these films.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, it would have to be like an Iron Man or something, or one of those movies or something. Because there's no way. Like I said, I can't do Nightmare on Elm Street, my favorite horror movie. I can't do that shit. I can barely do that shit on VHS sometimes. I can barely do Freddy on VHS, and I own the box set for DVDs and Blu-ray. So it's some shit.
I have to.
If I put on one of the headsets and all of a sudden he talking back to me, nope, Mike, nope. I already know I'm gonna die, because he's in my head already, and now he's in my head. He can see me, and he coming at me. Nope, body can't survive without the mind. My shit's gone. It's gonna be like the Matrix. You die in that shit, you're dead.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
I'm good. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No shit. Playing Friday the 13th, sometimes my heart beats real fast when I hear Jason coming for me.
I'll be going in there just like this, too. You ain't fucking with me.
Carry your shield everywhere.
Yeah, got the shield. I'm gonna be a shield if I need to.
That's awesome.
Look at me.
So, Sturdy, you say you give this an 8?
Yes, sir. I have to.
Does this get what you would call the Sir Sturdy stamp of approval?
Yeah, it does. And like I said, if I had it set up earlier, I would have put. You guys would have seen it on the screen. This definitely gets a Sir Sturdy stamp of approval.
Nice.
Highly recommended. You should definitely watch it. Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it, and you don't have to be like a Marvel fan. If you just love action films, you would enjoy this. If you love a good story, you would enjoy this.
Yep.
Not just I have to like Marvel. Like, I mention again when we get to it, but my father went to see Black Panther when that came out with a friend. So I'm gonna say, and he's not like a movie person like that. Like, he'll watch him here and there, but he watched that whole film. Usually he's knocked out. Like, my dad brought me to the movies maybe once or twice as a kid, and both times he was knocked out before the movie was even over, just sleep. But he said he watched that movie, watched the whole thing, and he enjoyed it. And again, he's not like a movie person. Like, of course he watched all the old school movies that he's seen, but he's someone who likes to be out and about. You know what I mean? If he's sitting down watching TV, it's a car show or something like that, or whatever, the news, a few other shows. But to sit down and watch a fucking 2.5 hour movie, that's not him. That's not him. And he did it for that, and he said he enjoyed it. So that's saying a lot about these type of films, like to where my dad is 78 years old now, I think.
Okay.
So that's saying something about this generation, you know what I mean? About this type of film, to where, like I said, between a baby and I was joking when I said 200 years old, but there you go, someone that was in their 70s watching one of these films and enjoyed it, like really enjoyed it. That doesn't even really watch movies.
Yep.
That's saying a lot.
Yep.
About this universe. So if that doesn't get you to watch these movies, I don't know what will. But you should definitely check these out. I highly, highly, highly recommend them. And you guys know I have a high quality taste in films if you watch horror. Especially this year. I've been all over the place. But no, seriously, these are great. Tune into it.
It's so dope.
These are approved and Captain African America approved. That's make sure you guys check that out. Check these movies out. I'm telling you.
That's awesome. I'm gonna be dropping episode of basically a review that I did with a buddy of mine, Kimo Sabi, and we did Shang-Chi when it first came out. And I've had it on deck since the movie came out. So it's edited up, it's ready to go. I just got to get it up. So that's going to be on the YouTube, but we're going to be doing Shang-Chi again here under the Midnight Matinee. But in that episode, I literally said that, and Kimo Sabi said it. This formula that they had, that they put together, that they realized very early on works, and it engages people of all ages, is groundbreaking. It's absolutely groundbreaking for a company and an entity to make people want to watch it that normally wouldn't watch a movie or stay awake for a movie. People of different age groups. If you can walk into a theater and see every demographic of people in every stage of life that are engaging together about the same thing and reacting in similar ways about the same shit on the screen that just happened, they're laughing at the same certain things, they're crying at the same certain things, they're gasping at the same certain things, and it's all across the board. Or you know, you got kids that are young enough to not really get it and understand, but they ask their parents, okay, what happened there? And the parents explain, they get it, and they're like, oh, okay. And now they become fans and they stick with it. Like, that was the point of it. That was the point of it. Like, we're all still kids at heart. So for them to tap into this and make it relatable for everybody and still show complicated scenarios and situations and, you know, relationships and development and shit like that all across the board, it's an awesome fucking thing. So that's why I will, to the end of time, tell people, watch these movies, stick in them, even if one or two of them aren't as good as the others. The payoff is so worth it. I hope continuing forward they keep with it and they even make it better. Not really sway away from the formula per se, but at the same time continue to drive their storytelling to make it so much more engaging and keep even more people and more generations coming. Because like I said, almost 30 more things they got planned so far. It took them to get to 30 here now or 40 here now. Like, we got another 15 years of this, 10 years at least of them doing this stuff, and then them deciding what they're going to do further and further. So, like I said, I'll be old and gray.
Yeah, same here. And again, this is it's just crazy. It's groundbreaking how great so many films are under one umbrella. That's saying a lot. And I can't wait to get through the rest of these films and let you guys know how I feel about them. It's going to be an awesome journey. Like, again, and I'm one of those people who, with franchises and shit, once I watch the first one, going back to horror again, which they're not this long, but I feel like I have to watch them all. And now I'm glad that I'm starting from this. I'm starting from the first one, because by the time we get to the end of this, there's going to be a new film. I'm sure there's going to be a new movie out. By the time we get through all these or whatever, the way we're going to do this to connections and all that, I'm sure there's going to be something new out to watch and review for you guys. And if not, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for this fucking journey. It's been a long time coming, and I can't wait to do more of this. And you're going to see more fun from Search 30. You're going to see my name change every episode. Hopefully I have some sort of fun for you every single episode. Whatever I can find or possibly make, we'll see. And it's going to carry on over through the Z Network when I'm involved with my own show or Popcorn and Pints. just to kind of make it more fun, make it a little different. So make sure you guys tune into all these shows because you're going to enjoy them all on the Z Network. Go check out the Z Network on YouTube and everywhere. Just check us out everywhere. Everybody that's affiliated with it, associated with it, because you're going to have a great time. Everybody has great content. And yes, I know there's a lot of movie review stuff, but we all do it in so many different unique ways, the way we just talk about and discuss them. And even though you see a lot of us reoccurring on, all the shows across the board, we still have different ways of discussing each type of film because they're different shows. So it's a different crowd with us. It's a different group with us. It's always going to be different. And you're going to get the entertainment, you're going to get the fun, you're going to get our real, true personalities, but the discussions are always going to be different, and that's why you should check out every single fucking one of us. Like, share, subscribe, rate, hit that notification button all across the board. You're not going to want to miss any of this. Do you want to be entertained? Yes, you do. Do you want to laugh? Do you get those good feels, those good feelings? You want to smile? You do. Do you want to watch something with your family? I mean, not everything that we put out there is, family friendly, so to speak, but there's some stuff in there. At least you can watch with the husband, wife, whatever. Do you want to be on some shows? Talk some movies and some crazy shit? Hey, just saying. Check out the Z Network, people. Trust me.
Sturdy, I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate everything so far that we've been doing. I appreciate the engagement. You're always a good host. You're always a good co-host and a good person to have on and guest. So it's always dope. Appreciate the love. You guys can always catch me as well, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm usually there about 80-90% of the time since I started now with Sir Sturdy, going through his horror movies. He's got a couple wheels that select for us what movies we're watching on which days. This time it's a little different. We're not doing the wheel. We didn't. Tuesday, you can either watch my regular stuff, not this segment here, the Midnight Matinee, but you can watch me on his channel doing his podcast. We're doing the new Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're reviewing that on Tuesday. We won't know what's going on Thursday till Tuesday when we spin that wheel. But if you want to catch a glimpse of what we think of that movie, come in, check it out at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, either on the Z Network or on Sir Sturdy's group page, or you can catch me on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube as well. Sturdy's on every platform you can think of. If you want to just listen to it, he's pretty much everywhere you can listen to an audio podcast. He does his work. He's got this stuff going up for you. He just reached a few weeks ago, 10,000 downloads of his audio. So congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
You guys got to catch me gaming because I got a lot of content from Apex, Fortnite, Call of Duty. I'm playing through Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider right now. I got the Resident Evil series I can get through. I play Wheel of Fortune sometimes. I play Rocket League. Me and Sturdy get down and we chop some zombies up and shoot them all on Zombie Army 4. We're probably going to get down doing that here in a few minutes. So once this stream ends, I'm probably going to boot up and put another stream on but I'm not going to pay attention to that one. I'm just going to be talking and having a good time. So if you're down for that, stick around. Watch on the channel, come back. But again, as always, don't forget to hit the like button, the notification button. You gotta subscribe to the shit. You gotta comment below so that we know if we did a good job or didn't. We want to know if you agree or disagree with us. And if you think you want to add to the conversation, that's the place to do it because we can keep it going. Just because the video's over doesn't mean we can't keep talking and engaging with you. So make sure you hit us. Keep it flowing.
Good. If you guys ever want to continue the conversation while we're gaming, just jump in the comments. Yep. Whatever random conversations we're talking about, if you guys want to bring up these movies or any movies that we've reviewed during this week, bring them up. Yep. Bring them up during the gaming. The gaming is like the free. When we're gaming, streaming, that's the freestyle where any conversation for the most part goes. Obviously, not too disrespectful. But you guys know what I mean by that. If any movies, gaming, or whatever, just some random funny stuff, that's where it really goes. That's the best place to get it, is whenever any of us are gaming or when we're gaming together, whatever the case may be. That's when you can get the fun. Now you're gonna get the fun and funny all across the board, but that's when you can get the more freestyle stuff.
Sturdy's got a Discord. I got one too, but Sturdy's is live. Mine isn't yet. So hit us up there. Maybe one of these nights we can do a group viewing of a movie that we're gonna review. And then you can watch us do the podcast to get our actual reactions to it and our actual sentiment of it.
Not only that, but because we've been discussing watch parties behind the scenes for a while, and I feel like Discord would be the best way. It wouldn't be live; it would be like an exclusive event and it's unlimited for the number of people, as far as I know. but it'd be like just there, no live, no recordings of it, just us having a good time, cracking jokes, laughing, watching whatever film we're watching. If it's for a podcast, we'll be a little bit more serious about it. We'll try to be, at least. I'm not gonna say you can't talk because whatever. But yeah, it would be fun to actually watch a movie with you that we're getting to get ready to review with you guys, whether it be on this show, the Popcorn and Pints, or Horror Research 30 for the the movie 4. It'd be fun to kind of do that with you guys, kind of see how you guys feel. We're not going to say anything about how we feel about the film during that part. You're going to get that with the podcast, though. Now, if we're doing like just a regular watch party with just something fun that we're not reviewing, fuck it. We'll talk about it. Make sure you guys tune into this. And as soon as I learn Discord more, I'll put the Discord and stuff out there. But you guys are going to have a great time. I'm telling you, 2022 is going to be an amazing, fun year for all of us.
It's shaping up to be.
And I'm telling, there's so much content. There's so much behind the scenes stuff. Joe has some dope stuff coming out that she was telling me that she's going to be working on. I'm not going to announce it because it's not my stuff to announce, but it's amazing. So just, again, tune into all of us. Tune into all of us because you're going to have an amazing freaking time. An amazing time.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the Shield. You see it on
Network, the Shield. You gotta come subscribe. You gotta watch us. If you'd enjoyed this, I appreciate you staying up so late with us here on the Midnight Matinee with your boy, the worst damn gamer ever. We're gonna kick fucking rocks. We're gonna hack up some zombies. Remember, sometimes in order to be the best, you gotta be the worst. That's what I'm here doing for you. I'll catch you next Saturday with Captain Marvel.
And I'll see you in your nightmares.